Okay. This video is going to be about this topic which I coin as sweet poison. Um, I think that in the past, right, of course, there was always sweet poison, but I believe that in the past, there was a lot less sweet poison. And I'm going to explain what I mean by that, by sweet poison. Um, it's pretty self-explanatory. Essentially, it's things which are detrimental to us, to our systems, right? But that appear pleasurable or appear good for us, right? So a simple example could be like when a kid goes in the store and then it sees all the sugary drinks and all the branding and it looks colorful and it looks amazing. Like to the kid, all the sweets and all that, it looks good. They want it, right? They think that's good for me. Um, Even if on an intellectual level, because their parents have told them that it's not good for them or whatever, they might know intellectually, but still their system actually perceives it as being good and it wants it, right? There's so many different examples in the modern age, and essentially what I was saying is that in the past I feel like it was a lot easier to determine and distinguish between what's poisonous for you and what's actually good for you. I feel like in the past, everything that was good for you actually kind of appeared good for you. For example, you see fruits and so on, that's good for you. If the fruit is rotten, that's poisonous. I don't want that. It's not good for me. If the food is moldy, then it's not good for you. I don't want that. If it's painful or something, all right, cool. That's not good. I don't want that. If it feels good, then that's good for me. I want that, and so on and so forth. However, and of course, there was probably always some kind of sweet poison in the past as well, where there were things which felt good and looked good, but actually weren't good. But I feel like this has been exacerbated in the modern age, and this is a problem or an obstacle which is particular to the time that we live in. Right. Yeah. So the modern age and technology has created a lot more of these sweet poisons, and it has made it a lot more accessible to us. Um, and of course, the modern age has brought a lot of convenience, which is good, right? It's brought a lot of convenience, but I think that, and that's of course been through technology and all of these things. But I think that, of course, well, everything comes at a cost, and this sweet poison and so on is essentially one of the costs. It's one of the costs, right? Like for example, and this all works with like clickbait and all of this kind of stuff. Like you see that video, or you're scrolling on Instagram and you see that one picture of that model, and your brain thinks that's good. I want to click on it, but then actually, the more you're clicking and looking at all these models and so on, it's desensitizing your brain. All of these kinds of things, and it has all of these negative kind of consequences which your brain is not aware of at first. See, so with a lot of the sweet poison, over time, your brain may become aware that this is actually poisonous and so on. But the problem is, by that point, you're already going to be hooked on it. And then it's going to be a lot more difficult to stop. Um, so yeah, I think that this is it's like more of a sinister kind of obstacle that we face now, because it's not really like uh, I'm not saying that this is better or worse or whatever, but it's not really like, for example, like some army invading your country or something, and you can tell that they're bad. You can tell that that's not good for you, because it's just easily perceivable that they're trying to cause harm to you and so on. Whereas now we live in a time where there can be things which are actually poisonous for you, but to your own system, it appears like it's good for you. See, that's what's so difficult about it, is because you can be doing something which you think is good for you, but it's actually bad for you. And you may only realize when it's too late, in a sense. And it's just that the amount of variety that we have of said examples now, and the accessibility, is all so easily accessible. You can go on any corner store, anything. There's like alcohol there being branded as like, and all this branding as well all links in with it, because every product is trying to like sell itself to you, even if it's bad for you, even if it's going to kill you over the years. It's still going to be branded in such a way to where you're going to want to buy it, because of course every business is trying to thrive. So yeah, essentially, really and truly, well, this is something that many people are becoming more aware of now. There's even these terms coming up with brain rot and all of this kind of stuff. Literally, it's that, because if you went back 10 years ago, people thought social media and all of these things were just amazing, the best thing ever. And now people are becoming aware of the negatives of it and how it's causing all this brain rot and so on and so forth. Right? And even though people are becoming aware of it, they're still having difficulty trying to stop, because it already has its hooks in, right? Like, it's already kind of been wired into your brain through the neuroplasticity. So it's, now we've become aware of it, that's the first step. But then, of course, it's going to take time to kind of undo these things. Because our brain, even though we're aware that it's negative, it's poisonous, our brain has still been wired over repetition of these last few years where we were unaware of that, to still think of it as good, right? So you can, on a conscious level, think that, Instagram is bad, I'm not going to use that anymore. But subconsciously, your brain still thinks it's good. And then, like, you think, I'm going to quit like Instagram today, and then in the next like 2 hours, you're scrolling on Instagram, and you might not even realize you did it so automatically, because it's just kind of been like programmed into you through repetition, right? So essentially, this is just a new kind of problem which I just wanted to speak about, and people are becoming more aware of. And it essentially, it demands vigilance and discernment, really. It's just something that we need to be vigilant of. And we just need to develop our discernment and kind of realize that not everything that appears good to us is actually good for us. And we just need to kind of be more conscious about what we actually engage in and what we actually promote as well. Because like this kind of brain rot and this sweet poison and all this stuff, there's this kind of self-feedback mechanism. For example, like let's say like on TikTok or advertisement, or even on YouTube and all this stuff now, is people will start to realize, people don't really value like in-depth videos and all of this kind of stuff now. Now what people want is just clickbait, quick, fast, attention grabbing, like clickbait videos and stuff like this. It doesn't even matter if the content is completely shallow, has no value to it. As long as it can grab people's attention for 10 seconds, that's what works. And then even if people themselves don't really agree with that, then they'll think, all right, cool, that's just the way it is now. And I want my business to thrive, so I'm going to use this to my advantage. And then they start essentially just perpetuating it further without realizing. They may realize that's how it works. It's not necessarily good, it's actually bad for us. But then unknowingly, they end up perpetuating it further because they want their own business to thrive or their own idea to thrive or so on and so forth. So that's also something we need to be aware of as well, is to try and not perpetuate this kind of way of being further unconsciously, right? Um, which is difficult, because we all have to kind of survive and so on. And if you're, for example, you have a business and you're trying to sell a product and you're trying to do it in an ethical way, but then someone else is trying to do it in an unethical way, and they may be lying in their advertisement and they may be doing all of this kind of stuff, but then they're actually thriving because they're doing all the stuff that's grabbing their attention and so on, right? So it's just a difficult balance, but it's just something that we need to become more aware of. And yeah, let me know what you think of that. Like, comment, and subscribe. Cheers.